Hey folks, it's Jang here from UltimateRC.com with a mini review of the Mini Vapor from Parkzone. This is the latest follow-on to the Vapor series. They started out with the Vapor and then they've done the Night Vapor. I've actually done a full review of the Night Vapor. You can find that on my YouTube channel. The Night Vapor was an excellent ultra-light, just easy flying plane. And this right here is very, very similar, except it's just much, much smaller. Overall, its stature is about half of the size and just presence of the original Vapors. They've kept with the tried and true design they used before, with carbon fiber spars and a little bit of composite work used to create a skeleton. They use a very, very thin film for the airfoil surfaces. It has a very small little brushed motor. You can see a little bit of dirt on the single gear. It's geared down. I've actually flown this before doing the studio footage. I couldn't help myself. It's got a very pretty large but not very steep pitch propeller. It has landing gear, uses linear actuators, and you can see there are only two of them. This is a 3-channel aircraft, so you just have throttle control, elevator control, and rudder control. And you can see that the horizontal stab, the entire thing, is your elevator, and the entire vertical stab is your rudder. This is the battery that's included with the thing. It is a 1-cell 30 milliamp hour tiny little LiPo. It does use their standard connector, which is pretty much industry-wide standard now for these micro packs, but it is such a small cell that it really needs slow charging, and they do give you a slower charger with this particular one. It has a little bit of a different design to it, but this uses 4 AA's, which they do include, and there's also an optional wall adapter that you can buy separately. So, flight of the Mini Vapor, well, there it is, off and running. That's it. That right there is exactly what you get with the Mini Vapor. Here, obviously this is outdoors. There's a little bit of breeze, I'd say about 1 mile per hour steady, gusting to 2 to 3 at most. And you will see it kind of get thrown around a little bit in the air when I get tiny little gusts. This thing is definitely much more sensitive to movement of the air than the much larger version was, but it's nice to still be able to fly it outdoors. But the thing is that it's just so small, and it can turn in a very small area, that you can actually fly this in many indoor spaces where the original just couldn't fit. Many living rooms and family rooms will actually be able to accommodate this thing, and you know, if you have enough skill to fly within a relatively small area, you can do some figure eights and a couple of different circuit styles around an area that's, I don't know, 12 to 15 feet square. It cannot fly faster than this. What you just saw there was full throttle, and that was actually going away from the wind a little bit. And you know, it's just a peaceful, easygoing, gentle little flyer, just like the Night Vapor before it, just like the Vapor before that. They've pretty much preserved all the good things about the larger versions, and they've just given you something smaller that you can fly in smaller areas. The two drawbacks with the Mini version are that, again, it's a little bit more sensitive to wind, and it's a little bit less likely to do anything close to an aerobatic maneuver. As of the time of this video, I have not yet tried the inner control horn mounting position for the links for the rudder and elevator. Those should give a little bit more throw, but in the test that I was able to do just with the out-of-the-box setup, it was much harder to get it to even try to do a diving loop, which the Night Vapor could do pretty consistently. High alpha flight is possible, but it's a little bit harder, I found, with this also compared to the larger Night Vapor, and it does require a little bit more throttle, which leaves you with less buffer room. Just normal flight seems to be right around the half throttle point compared to around a third throttle with the original, so it just doesn't quite have the same pep. Now, early on I did not show you the controller for this thing because the version that I got did not have a controller. I got the bind and fly version and just bound it up directly to my Spectrum DX6i. The bind and fly version costs about $80 retail, and the ready to fly version, which has a very, very simple, very basic little controller, is about $100 ready to fly. Really not a huge difference between the two. But for folks who already have a Spectrum Air radio, it's nice to be able to save a couple bucks, but mostly to not have the waste of a RTF controller that you're just never going to use. The only last two little objective points I want to add in are that battery charging takes about 20 minutes if the battery is fully depleted, in my experience, and you can get anywhere between 5 and 6 minutes per battery charge with the 30 milliamp hour battery. And that's it. That pretty much covers it for my thoughts on the Mini Vapor from Parkzone. It's just a slow, gentle, pretty elegant little flyer. It's easy to fly, and it just pretty much does what it sets out to do. Another good product from the folks at Parkzone. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye for now.